Here is a short overview of Scrum and how all the pieces fit together. Work is completed in short cycles of less than 1 month, called sprints. The product goal represents the long-term objective for the Scrum team and details why the work is valuable. The work to be done to reach the product goal is held in an ordered product backlog, which the product owner is accountable for. Items at the top of the product backlog are refined to a ready state by the Scrum team, so they are small enough and enough is known about them to allow them to be done in a sprint. At the beginning of each sprint, the Scrum team conducts the sprint planning event. Here they set a sprint goal that explains why we are completing the work. The work to be done and a plan of how to do it is captured in the sprint backlog. The developers are accountable for this artifact. During the sprint, the developers manage and carry out the work with the aim of producing a done increment no later than the end of the sprint. By the end of the sprint, the increment must be in a usable state. The definition of done helps us understand the quality required for the increment. Producing a usable increment that meets the definition of done and achieves the sprint goal each sprint exposes issues and helps the team understand the risks, challenges and issues that they will face along the way. Finding such issues from the first sprint onwards ensures the Scrum team has the maximum possible time to resolve these issues. During the sprint, a self-managing and cross-functional Scrum team carries out the work. Developers meet each day at the daily Scrum to revisit and adapt the sprint backlog for the next 24 hours. At the end of the sprint, the increment is inspected by the Scrum team and stakeholders at a sprint review. Adaptations to the product backlog often result, as more will now be known about the product and the domain within which we are operating. Incorporating these adaptations into the product backlog will help us to deliver a more valuable product in future. In the sprint retrospective, the Scrum team looks for ways to overcome issues and improve its ability to create the product, often starting from the next sprint. Scrum teams are cross-functional and have all the skills needed to develop the product. They are self-managing and internally decide who does what, when and how. The Scrum Master is accountable for the adoption of this empirical approach and the use of Scrum. They help remove impediments to the Scrum team completing its work effectively. They help the Scrum team become more able to deliver valuable, usable, done increments and are accountable for the team's effectiveness. The developers are committed to creating any aspect of a usable increment each sprint. They are accountable for the sprint backlog, adhering to the definition of done and adapting their sprint backlog each day towards achieving the sprint goal. The product owner is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the Scrum team. They are accountable for the product backlog, which contains the valuable work the developers may complete to deliver the product. Things will change as development proceeds. As we have incomplete knowledge of what is needed and how to build the product at the start, this is natural and normal. Scrum provides a set of rules and recommendations to help us manage this change and to make it an advantage in order to deliver a product of the highest possible value.